All right. Just getting a couple things set up, guys. Doing a quick audio check. Good morning. All right. Looks like the audio's good. Hope everybody had a great day. What a wild pump. All right. Okay, guys. Um, so I'm gonna go through a few things. Those of you that are in the community, um, I had already put out the guidance, so I hope you had time to review that. If you didn't, then that's kind of what we're going to walk through right now. As you guys all know, we have the stock charts over here. Um, so we'll kind of start with that. So, looking at the SPX, you guys, this is what I put out this morning. The key area on the SPX, you can see. We did reject off this trend line. We're creating this kind of low, and then you can see the explosion above it back on the 31st. And then currently kind of has like a head and shoulder formation forming. If this were to break, it could push it past all of this support. This is a key area to watch. Like you can see the arrow that I had there from the guidance. The main reason is for this one here is when you come down into this spot here, it's going to have the support level right here, right, which was previous resistance, previous support, previous resistance. If this holds as support, it's going to push up pretty bullish. However, if we break back down and act as a resistance in this area again, then back down we go, right? So flipping over to the Dixie, part of what we were part of what we were watching. If you go onto the daily here, and we have been talking about this line for some time on the Dixie, right? Which is the trend line that we've been following. Um, whenever we break it like this, we just want to kind of double check and make sure how accurate our points are, right? So there's a lot of kind of key points. This was our first point, even though we dragged it past a little bit. And you can see we have a little area we can pull down on this spot, but let's see, pulling down on that gives a little bit of room here. So we might be slightly high on this range, but I don't think it's enough to say that we're really not below it. So if I were to adjust that slightly, right, let's take a look at that. So we have our point right here, we have our point right here, and you can see these points line up a little better, right? Comes through. Now it makes this one a little higher, which might be okay, but let's take a look at that in the lower time frame and see where we're at. Because the reason why I'm looking at this is because you can see we're finding support in this area, right? So the thing with the Dixie, if we continue to find support off of this trend line, eventually we're going to have that explosion north, which is going to retest this line. The 102 is a big area we need to reclaim. You can see it's marked because it was once as support that caused us to massive pump. It had a big move down, a big move up, another big move down, big move up, big move down. So you can tell it's a pretty significant area. It was once resistance, then support. So for the Dixie to be bullish, we would need to find a bounce off of this line, a break above here, and then a push up. If we continue to break below this line and we act as a resistance, then that's going to cause a pretty dramatic fall, right? Which is going to impact the markets as well. So you can see pre-market on the SPY is falling pretty good. The SPX as well as coming down. So it's a very important day today, and I'll go into the crypto like I talked about. If you notice, the overall market cap has not really broken past the top here, even though we had the crazy run on the altcoins like Ethereum and such. The reason is Bitcoin didn't actually run like the alts did. All the news and everything keeps talking about how we're in alt season, and how this whole thing with the alt season hitting the news like it has been, is going to create FOMO, and obviously the lead alt is Ethereum, right? So it's going to push that. So from a market cap standpoint, for me to flip like fully bearish, like we're really coming down, we need to see a break below these EMAs, but really a break below this 200 on the 1 hour. And then once we break below this 200 on the 1 hour, then we want to kind of act this as resistance on our divergence tracker that we have here. I want to see this flip red as well. Typically, when you come down like this and you see that flip red, right? It kind of, even though you have some pumps, right, you can see that the trend is starting to shift downward, right? So that's kind of what we want to look for on that market cap. So Bitcoin, let me take this stuff off of here. So you can see Bitcoin, we're getting a little bit of a pullback here in the early morning market. So if I put on my other bot jock indicators, let's just take those off. All right, and so let's go ahead and go to the 1 hour here. I did remove my trend lines just because I like to just get an overall look, right? So at the end of the day, you can see here we had our push, we had our pullback, another push, and then we had our true pullback. So we have another push that has pushed up to here. And at the end of the day, it's just been ranging, guys. We have our peak, our peak, our peak, our peak, peak, right, and the other equal peak. For us to see this kind of pull back, I would like to see this drop down below this. Let me zoom in so you can see. All right, I would like to see this fall below this orange line here, right? Our 200 EMA on the 1 hour. Once we fall below it, we need to act as resistance. So you can see we fell below a few times, but each time it reclaims it with a lot of support. We do have the Bollinger Bands kind of tightening up. So as these tighten up and start to go sideways, that big move is likely coming. So again, we are still green on the divergence tracker. It actually called the bullish divergence pretty well right there. So I'd like to see that flip red, for us to get our pullback here. So um, Bitcoin, we talked about this in the room already. You can see there's a pretty obvious trend that has been running about right here. I think it even goes back here. I had deleted this line. I was looking at stuff earlier, but so this is the high that we were talking about, which is that 30K, where I think we're going to get that rejection. Where last time we hit the line, see, it was a pretty dramatic rejection. You can see we went from 28.7 all the way down to 26.6. Every time we touch this line, it either reverses or there's a dramatic pullback. You can see here. So if you're looking to, kind of be patient and get into shorts, I mean, anything in this zone in that mid 29 range is going to be a great short to take. But if you really are super patient and you want to hold up till we hit this line, I mean, you can make a ton of money off of this rejection as that hits. So that's kind of the line that we're looking at there. The other line that we were following is, you can see this trend line here, right? So this is kind of the range that we're trading in. So I suspect that when the gap fill does come, the lowest that we or the best case scenario for us to stay bullish is to do a half fill somewhere around this range, the 24.5 to 25K. The worst case scenario, I can see would be another retest of this line down here, which is around 21.2, something like that. So that's kind of how we have that. Ethereum, you can see we've been talking about Ethereum for a little bit. As you guys know, in the room, when we talk about Ethereum, I kept saying that it had the potential to move up a lot more than the other ones, especially Bitcoin, because of the way that the trends looked. Plus, you have all the news, everybody talking about alt season and how all these alts are going to the moon. Just be really careful, guys, because no matter what the news says, if Bitcoin comes down, everything comes down. So We did point out on Ethereum, so that there was this purple trend line I was following. If you zoom out to here, you can see, there were some peaks that really hit that. It did blow past that, but it's having trouble holding it. We're currently right below it. So if it rejects off of this purple line, we should see a pretty significant pullback, probably a up over down situation. Now, we did actually have a pump one, pump two situation, so we could see a slight pullback, retest, and then a pump three situation before the gap fill. But this gap will fill, guys. The all gaps always fill. Look at the history. I mean, massive pump, gap fill, massive pump, retracement, retracement, gap fill. I mean, and if you notice, even though these things are gap filling, we're still going up, right? So you can gap fill and still be bullish, which I am bullish right now. So, but I would suspect that we're gonna have some form of retest at least of the 200 on the 1 hour. So if you go to the 200 on the 1 hour, that is down in this range right here, right? So around 1816 or so. Doesn't mean we can't go up a little more first, but we always retest that EMA. So I also did point out, you can see on the smaller time frame, not as relevant on the 1 hour, even though it is still there. Um, we do have our bearish divergence. So you have your peak, your lower peak, and your lower peak, but you have a higher and higher, right? And pretty much equal, right, for the hidden. So we do have that kind of divergence popping up. So just keep an eye on that in Ethereum. I would be super cautious if you're live trading. I would not take longs right now. I would. It's a far safer bet and could be very, very much a lot more profitable if you just. I'm not saying enter shorts like right now, right? What I'm saying is, when you go to your 2 minute and you're trading or 5 minute, 15, whatever you trade on, wait for these peaks right here, right? When you see these peak pump ups, that's when you can enter that short and capture that pullback. So that would be the safer way, because you always want to weigh your risk and your reward, right? The reward is you could pump up to here, right? This trend line, but the risk is you could fall all the way down to here or further, right? So always weigh that reward with the risk that it takes. So. Um, that's enough on the market. So let's take a look at the ATAs. So I already have LTC up. Let's see how it's doing. So let's take a look at my longs first. So you can see even with the Ethereum going crazy, right? LTC's been pretty sideways. We're in a long right now. It's actually really close to our DCA level. My LTC has made $460 in 14 days on just longs. So just continues to just do so well, guys. I mean, look at this DCA point. So entered, DCA'd, and then it sold it. And then you can see overnight while I was sleeping, midnight, it took a trade, sold it around 3 a.m. So I'll take it. So not worried about the longs. I do know I am gonna make one edit though, because I just put this out in the room too. I don't want to allow this thing to DCA 2 times anymore, because we are getting high in the range on the longs. So remember, guys, all you have to do when you do that is open up the your alerts here. And so anytime you make a change, you just want to find your LTC long, and you come in here, and I'm going to delete it. And then I'm just going to go to the spot here because I've already made my change, right? I'm going to add my alert back and ATA LTC Gambit LTC long. So any change you make, you just redo your alerts. And now what I did here is I basically told the ATA, you can keep playing longs, but I'm only giving you one opportunity to DCA. I don't want it to throw extra volume in the event that we fall backwards, but I don't want to stop it, because if we continue up, right, or we continue ranging up here, you're just giving up a lot of money. So I'm going to do that on my longs. On my shorts, I'm okay with letting it go. You can see I'm already actually in a DCA2, pretty close to entry. So you can see so far this DCA2 has actually been spot on right at the peak. Look how patient it was. It just waited this whole time until it got up to here and did its DCA2, and we're almost out in profit, right? So I'm not going to touch anything on the LTC, still running parabolic SARs, still running DCA2 at 5%. So yeah, so LTC is good. I'm not worried about it. So far, shorts have made me $403. Hey, hey, good morning, John. And so the shorts have made me $403, and the longs have made me 460. So I mean, not too bad, right? About 860 bucks on in 14 days just on one pair. So love me some LTC. Let's go ahead and load up the other ones. I am running ETH still. So ETH, I know we are probably still stuck in that short because we had the big pump. Yeah, so we did the DCA2 here. I'm not gonna DCA3, guys. As you've seen on the TA, I mean, my entry is like 1845. Like, I mean, we're gonna come back to that. I don't want to force anything because our high could be up as high as like 2020, right? So I'm just gonna let this one play out. My LTC is earning really well, so I'm not really worried. In 9 days, it's made $104, so I'll take it. The longs has crushed it. I'm actually not currently in a long anyways right now. No, 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 no. I'm thinking here. Let me just do the same thing with my longs. I'm gonna kill the second DCA and I'm gonna let it go, but I'm not. I don't want it to DCA anymore like that. So we just do the same thing. You just turn off the DCA, guys. All these settings are super super simple. And then we just take the ETH long alert. We delete the alert. We come back in here. We add the alert back. ATA, Gambit, ETH, long. And now our ETH is good. So let's take a look at the shorts. Shorts is 104. We looked at that. The longs 73 and 9 days there, and we're looking pretty good. So we made our modification on the long, so I'm comfortable with that. So I'm not going to make any changes further. So we'll hit save there. So the next one we're running is Aave up here. So let's take a look at Aave. So Aave, I feel like, man, look at this move. There it is. Let's see what the stock's doing. But look at this. Stocks are going down in crypto out of nowhere. That's what we talked about this morning. Look at ETH. See, watch this. Watch this trend line drop. It's gonna be wild. Um, so let's take a look at Aave. ETH long, new order. Man, chasing that. Um, all right, so Aave, we are in a long. Let's stretch this out. So the long is actually in profit. So we're looking pretty good on that. I'm gonna probably just stop my long all in, entirely on my Aave. I'm gonna let this one play out, so you may not see it on the call, but afterwards I'm just gonna delete that alert once I get the close here. It's done well, 51 bucks in 5 days. I'll take it. But I just kind of want to see how that plays out. The shorts I'll just keep riding out. I think I already have this one set to one DCA, yeah, so I'm not too worried on that. Yeah, that's only one DCA. Yep. Um, so I'm gonna probably continue the Aave short. I will do the short on one DCA, parabolic SARs. Um, yeah, probably, and just continue with that. So, but I'm not gonna do any other altcoins, guys. If you we have 10 more minutes, so if you're running something else, I'll go over some quick ranges. If you look at Ethereum, actually, we'll just go back to Aave since we have this open. Y'all know I go to the 1 hour to check my range. If you're not running Aave, you can still turn it on. We have uh, still a good opportunity to capitalize on some longs. As we do have this stretch here, we did create a higher low, and so we kind of have like this. If we touch this spot again, kind of this ascending triangle formation coming up here. So we could potentially still go up. I'm going to stop the long anyways and just ride through the shorts. But if you're starting new, you could probably ride long and short both here. So, but short is probably going to be a little safer for you for Ave. So let's go ahead and load. Let me go back into my LTC so I can show you that range. So the LTC range I've been following, as y'all know, is this one. Here's my middle point of support. So although longs are very appealing, we still have room to go long. We are peaking out pretty close here, so just that's why I was saying be really careful on your longs. If anything stays short, you have a lot more room to play. So on the LTC, but you got to remember, guys, when I say stay short, that the ATA does really well on DCA. So even if you pump up and you DCA one and you DCA two and you DCA three or whatever you DCA, like let's say you're only doing two, you do one and you do two, it rejects. That two DCA is going to make just a ton of money. So you got to let it work, right? Um, but if you're just starting out on LTC, I would say longs. I wouldn't do any more than one DCA if you're going to run it. If you aren't comfortable with that, you want to watch it, you could also just run short only as well. Let's go to let's check these other ones, like Sol. Solana sitting in the middle. You got your upper range, you got your lower range. I have not been running Solana, but remember the backtest is always going. So if I were still running my short, see, I would actually be stuck right here, back on the 3rd. So 2 days ago, not bad. But I did stop my Solana. So remember, whether you're running it or not, guys, is just whether you have an alert. At the end of the day, you know, if you don't have the alert set up, it doesn't mean it's not running. All that means is that it's going to do, do, do. It's just not going to fire. But the ATA itself actually doesn't stop running, right? It just keeps going. So you can always look and see what you would have did if you made a good decision, bad decision, yada yada, right? So, but Solana, like we just talked about, it's still middle of the range. If you want to run a long and a short on Solana, you're probably going to do okay. All right, let's take a look at XRP. So XRP, if y'all remember, we traded the crap out of this range here, right, forever, and then I stopped it because I anticipated a breakout. I could have played long, but I just did. You got to remember the way this ATA trades. These are amazing. Don't get me wrong, but we want it to do this. This is where we make money in the ATAs for sure. The way that we trade, right? Because it's just nonstop scalping. This is where you get stuck in your short, and then you're stuck in there forever, right? So, with the news that was coming around, you guys all remember when I saw this consolidating, I saw this kind of falling channel. I said we want to be careful because we might see another break above like this, which we did. Not only did we see the break above here, but even broke above here, and it's holding its support. So I don't like XRP. I'm not going to run it. Just be really careful because you're coming up into what was previous really strong support, which is typically going to be really strong resistance. So if you take longs up here, you're likely to get wrecked if Bitcoin actually does have a really significant pullback. So, all right. Give me one moment, guys. I'm trying. All right. Just trying to minimize one of my screens on accident. Okay. So, yeah, so XRP, I don't like it. If I were to run XRP, let's say I want to capitalize on this, because gaps are going to fill, right? They always do. I would probably do a short only, but I would put a stop loss. I would probably put the stop loss around maybe 5%. With anything that pushes it up into this area or above, um, and that way you can just ride the oscillations or ride the way back down. And then there's a little button when you go into the settings, we set up a setting purposely where you can enable a stop loss, but you can stop trades after stop loss is hit. We set this up purposely because if it goes parabolic, right, and it keeps doing this, you don't want it to hit, enter a short pump, enter a short pump, and keep hitting stop loss. So if you want to take a risk to ride this train back down, just take the risk, but just set it to stop trading after one stop loss. That way, if you wake up in the middle of the night, your worst case scenario risk is just going to be the one stop loss. So for those that are joining, new, these are our settings for our ATA. I mean, super duper simple. You can see that's literally all you have to set up, guys. You just set up the pair you're trading, the strategy. We have built-in strategies all in here. We set up default take profits. You set up, how many dollar cost averaging you want to do, the percent you want to do it in, the multiplier of your initial volume that you want to trade. It literally, and you don't even have to know how to do all this. I mean, you can just run defaults. If I were to, reset this to default, so like, since it's XRP, I'll just reset it to default. You can see here, these are our default settings, the DCA3. A lot of times you'll see in these huddles, we just pull out this DCA3, right? And we'll manually put that in later when we need to. So, but really easy to set up. Once you create it, you just click these three dots, add the alert, and let it get to work, right? So I'm on the 4-hour time frame. That's why you're not seeing any stats here for XRP. But if I go to the 1 minute, you can kind of see how that long would have performed that I was doing, and it would have actually did really well. So, yep. So, all right, that's enough on XRP. Let's take a look at Doge. I know Doge had its like crazy push north. All right. Need to click on one other thing here. All right. So Doge on the 1 hour. Again, I stopped running Doge. You had kind of like your ascending triangle here, right, which showed a possible pump. The thing I didn't like about Doge, if you guys remember, I ran it for a little bit in this range. I think we caught a little bit in this range. But one, it's skipping ranges like crazy, right? These tiers and these moves are pretty dramatic, which is if you're running both directions, likely going to get you caught. Um, and the other thing is you had this trend line, right, that was established like back here. You had your second point. We broke below it. We acted as resistance, and then we started to act as support. We double bottomed, off of this pattern, exploded up. The explosion also was because of the whole like Elon changing his picture on Twitter. So I mean, I love Doge because it really, if you run the back testing, it performs extremely well. But it's just when Elon can change one picture and it just goes parabolic. I mean, it makes it very difficult for you to want to kind of run both long and short. Like you can see longs would have did really well. I mean, this one hit TP7. Look, it entered in again and still it hit TP7. So it did really well on that. Um, but it's so risky, with those. So I highly suggest if you run these ones, you definitely want to run this enable stop loss and stop loss stop trades after stop loss. So especially this high, guys. I don't suggest running Doge long anymore right now because it, if you look at the upper range, you can see where we had massive resistance. There's not really a long way to go for that. Um, Now there is a line here I don't have marked right about there where you can see, along the way we had our break above, break below. There was some support in here. We have some support in here. We have resistance here. We have resistance here. So it's a pretty valid line, right? And so to determine what you want to run or the direction you want to run, use this line. If you stay below this line and you keep rejecting, then you could probably do a short only with a stop loss, kind of like we did with the XRP. So, but I would be careful on this one. I mean, you do have like a little symmetrical triangle forming here, so that could break up again. It could break down. It's just so news impacted, right? So just be really careful. Doge is fun to play with on the ATAs, but it's not one that I want to use when I'm overextending. It's one that you want to kind of get in, run it for a few days, and get out. So, but I think we have a lot more options out there available. So Doge would not be my first choice to run right now. Now, Matic. Matic is still in a good position. You can see here, we're right in the middle. Plenty of room to go up, plenty of room to go down. I mean, if I had to pick my top choices, if I wanted to press, extra pairs, I would probably run LTC, ETH, Aave, and Matic would be probably my four top choices. For those who don't know, these are the pairs that we offer: BTC, ETH, LTC, Solana, XRP, Matic, Aave, Doge. Um, I think BTC, ETH, LTC, Matic, and Aave are probably your top choices right now. Solana is not in a bad spot, but Solana, XRP, and Doge are very news impacted. Solana is not as much anymore, but remember it had that crazy fall, and you got to be careful with Solana because I mean that thing was at $100 plus, right? So at any given time, that thing could just go parabolic if the right news came out for it. So these are your kind of your big money trades. If you're a trader and you understand direction, you understand news, you understand patterns, then I would suggest running these three, or choose maybe one of the three. Get in, make some money, and close it out, right? So, but that's the pairs we do. For those who are new, on futures trading, we offer KuCoin and BitGet. We use BitGet primarily, and the reason why is BitGet is the only exchange that we have found that is not only API friendly, but it allows you can see, to trade long and short on the same pair at the same time. You can't do that on KuCoin. If you're on KuCoin, you're either going long or you're going short. So just so much more money to be made. You think about this: if I were to only run longs, I would have made $460. It's still good money, right? But look at how much money I've missed out on shorts, 403. So why would you choose KuCoin over BitGet when you can make twice as much money? So, and it works as a hedge, right? So it's actually even safer for you too. So I do have 903. For those of you in the community, you guys know I like to keep this particular call to around 30 minutes. So I don't want to keep going over. Just be careful. We do have stocks had a crazy pump. If the SPY breaks below 407.65, and the SPX breaks below about 407, like 4,075, then we might see a pretty good pullback. But the big one of the day is going to be the Dixie if it can hold this yellow line. So try to find that line. Remember that the Dixie is going to be what is going to dictate the rest of that market. So appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and end this call for the community, guys, on YouTube. If you guys need anything, let me know. I will be opening another call. Guys, let's do it. I normally do the Q&A for the community around 9:30. Give me like an hour. Let's set it for 10. So I'll go ahead and create a call in the community. If you're inside the community, you'll be able to see that at 10 o'clock. We'll do a quick Q&A. You guys can ask questions. We'll kind of analyze the market and maybe do a little trading together. So we'll see you guys soon, and look out for that inside the community there.